Hi, this is Travis in the Uncanny Valley. Um, I need analogies to understand things, and by the grace of God, it came to me. Um, I just feel like analogies make things really accessible that might be kind of hard to articulate. So I'm just going to dive right into this. I am a garage door opener. I am a garage door opener. I am the door. I am the building. I am the keypad. I am the clutter that falls out of the garage door when I am opened. Um, okay, so there's going to be things you could add to this analogy, like any analogy. Excuse me, where to poke holes in it. That's not the time for this. This isn't the time for that. I mean, um, let's just maybe try and hear the parts about the analogy that I'm saying I'm really relating to. So okay, so rather than get into specific criticisms, like I'll just think a really easy one is just the topic of criticism. So if I am criticized, I have an I have really limited understanding. Oh man, this is really humbling and often humiliating is the best word I can think of. Um, it's just hard to get this stuff out, so bear with me. I have impairments that make it to where my my most well-meaning efforts are based in my insecurities. So I overshare. If I'm criticized, it's very often that the criticism um, is rooted in a typical person's understanding or the way a typical person would receive what I did. So I'm not saying that's wrong, but um, and then it's often that uh, a motive and a thought process will be extrapolated from my actions and attributed to me through uh, the a misnomered act referred to as mind reading. It's the opposite of mind blindness, where those things, well-meaning as they might often be, are attributed to you on your behalf, um, uh, and often long past when you've tried to share the good news of, oh, good news, that wasn't my motive. But it that doesn't mean anything a lot of times. If you're hurtful, you know I'm trying to respect the offense that took place, um, even if there's no room for hearing that no offense was meant, no offense was intended often. um, so I've said really hurtful and offensive and uh, harmful, degrading, whatever you name it. Like I've said all number of things out of um, a mean place, probably, but that's a very, very small portion of how I've hurt people. Most of it has been out of a place of ignorance and blind spots, and just trying to navigate the situation as best I can with what poor tools I have. Um, so to get into the analogy, um, we're just going to talk about criticism in general. So if someone comes to me to criticize me, um, I'm just going to say that they are pushing my buttons, not in a way to upset me, but they're pushing my buttons in a way that I'm going to be very reactive to. So my natural response, um, being that I have an anxious attachment style, is to um, double down and overshare. So I am relieved because there's so often such a deep mismatch of the way my brain works and what my motivations were. Um, between that and the way it was received, that like it appears that I'm trying to invalidate what happened to the person, and it appears that I'm trying to um, or that I am having a mismatch between my experience and my expressed emotions, when in fact I'm just relieved that and it's like, oh good, it's like, okay, I hurt you, but like I can be a little distracted by the good news, as it were, that I wasn't intentionally hurting you. Like this is, there's a disconnect here, and we can figure this out. But like I was expressing something that in turn was hurtful, but I can get a little distracted by what I view as good news, that like no one ever, no one else ever seems to take any solace in the fact that no offense was intended. But anyways, um, so I'm learning more about how to validate the other person, and not speak to that so much, so that I can uh, help them understand, the other person understand that like um, the important parts, which is I can validate the fact that my words were hurtful on its own. There doesn't have to be an intent. There doesn't have to be um, an apology for my thought process, because that's your interpretation of my thoughts. That's not something I need to apologize for. I get that um, that's the normal way that your thoughts would progress to get to that hurtful thing that I said. But I'm gonna apologize for the hurt that my words did cause, and maintain um, a healthier uh, stance on how I don't need to apologize for, um, like I said, all the stuff that might have gone into it. Had you said that thing or done that thing, um, I'm still at a point of a lot of learning. But anyways, okay. So criticism itself, though, I need to be less reactive. But if my keypad on my garage door keypad, if the pin to get in is say 1 2 3 4. Well, if you're a stranger and you come up, you're not going to know have that. You're not going to be a person who I've given access to me in that way. So you might be pushing my buttons all day long, but I'm going to be more guarded. I'm going to not recognize those pins, even though you're trying your best to push my buttons. I'm not going to make myself vulnerable for you in that way. I'm not going to open up the garage door and uh, likely let you have access to me in that more vulnerable state. But if you are someone that I've I have a personal relationship with, and I've I have known ways that you can come to me and criticize me, for instance. um, my unhealthy way was that to be reactive and oversharing. And if you come up and you push, say 1 2 3 4 is the code, my garage door was going to open, which is me over explaining, and all the stuff is just going to start falling out. And there's going to be things in there that I'm happy to, like, oh, I'll throw this box out, this is perfect. We There's all these things I can show you, to all these little embarrassing ways that I used to think about the world. This I'm showing you my worldview, and bearing all to in some very unmetered, unfiltered way that is additionally hurtful and abrasive and unwelcome for very valid reasons. Um, so that's pretty much where it ends. Is that I just do that. I'm just this unfiltered vomiting of all the stuff in some ineffectual over explaining attempt to show you that, like, oh, these are the anecdotes, these are the the life lessons, these are the stories that I use to to build this way of thinking. See, like this was in me, this was rooted in benign things or well-meaning things or something, and that's not going to validate your hurt. If I've said hurtful things to you, you want to know that I value you and I apologize to you for causing that hurt. Like maybe you can get to where someday you're interested in knowing the weird way that I processed the information that I processed, such that uh, my hurtful words could make sense. But that's really not the point of criticism. And so I deal with it in unhealthy ways that are based in my insecurities and my unhealthy coping mechanisms, because that's all I have. Like, I have very few healthy coping mechanisms, and obviously that needs to change. But like this process that I'm going to walk through is the way to change that. And so without this, until this can start to happen in my relationships, like, uh, I can't get better at this. So, and it's not something everyone's going to want to participate in, but okay. So let's say you're someone I know and I trust, and I've given you access to criticize me. So, the code is 1, 2, 3, 4 if you're going to criticize me. Well, I need to be less reactive. I need to have the door come up slower so things don't come falling out on you unfiltered. I need to spend more time, which I've been doing a lot of, is organizing the things so that they're not falling out on you. So I have them in labeled boxes, and I can say, okay, so you know what? This is part of the reason I said that. And um, I don't need to tell you about that. Let's figure out, because I do still need the slight accommodation of understanding what was offensive. So that's not likely to change. Um, but I'm getting to where I can go about that in a much healthier process. So the second step is to press and hold the pound button until the light bulb on the garage door opener blinks twice. So that's kind of saying, okay, you're telling you're telling me very plainly and very clearly and very openly, hey, we're going to go through a reprogramming right here. Like this way you handle this situation, this needs to be reprogrammed. And with the door up, I have the keypad to talk to you about this, and this is going to be a mutually safe place for us to both be vulnerable, but at least for you to be vulnerable because you're the one you're the one being criticized uh, with this thing that you do. Um, so with this safe place to be that's now established, which means basically that like my ability to handle this process has to happen. Like if I can't have these things, it can't also be an existential threat to the relationship. If it's an existential threat to the relationship and you're not willing to help me know what or how it's hurtful or how to do it in an unhurtful way. I mean, if you can't help me learn how to do something that's not hurtful, then that's not a relationship as I understand relationships. And then you'd enter the new 4-digit pin of your choice. So that's something that should be something we work through together. Or I say, okay, um, this is the way you could approach me with the new criticism. This would be better. And then you could more be on the side of saying, okay, this is how I'd like you to deal with this in the future. And that would need to be, for me, real life examples of like, here are things you could say. And I need to understand the value system at play here. It can't just be strings of words that don't make sense to me that I have to memorize. And, and then step 4, test to enter the new pin, press the enter button. The garage door opener will activate. So then I would need to be going through this stuff. Okay, practicing like role playing, essentially like some live, some just practicing. Okay, this is what this looks, and that's safe. Like you're comfortable with that, and that's something that without that, like I don't stand a chance at not upsetting people. Like I need help.